Now, a little bit of a disclaimer. I am just an individual. I don't know what I'm doing. I had some assistance with this project. They most likely don't know what they're doing. So I'm sure the internet will let me know if something was done wrong, or if it was done correctly, or if they're just happy with the results. So, we live in the northwest suburbs of Chicago, and yeah, we get a lot of wind here in my location because to the west of us, there's no buildings. Oh, there's a pool on our fence. Yeah, daughter tried to set up our a little pool there, and it blew over, and more fence panels blew over. Yeah, fun times. So, there's basically two sections of fence that we are responsible for. That's the neighbor's fence over there. Theirs is in bad shape too. So this fence right here is most likely over 25 years old. It's all cedar. And the back fence was replaced about 17 years ago. And that is the village side property line. So they take care of that fence. Back fence was replaced, like I said, about 17 years ago. And it's using steel posts with no concrete. So I think it's about time we replace it. As mentioned, our back fence was replaced about 17 years ago, and that was done professionally with Postmaster posts, and they're not set in concrete, and it's just as sturdy as it was on day one. So I was looking to see how it was installed, and I came across SWI Fencing, and they have a great YouTube channel, so I would suggest giving them a follow. Now I knew I didn't want to do a manual post driver. I wanted to have something to assist, and they actually went and did a little side-by-side comparison between the Vevor and a Rhino. Now this is a very cheap versus very expensive. So, and you can see that it is cold out, and yeah, they're really pushing these machines to the limit. And you know what? In Illinois, we deal more with clay than rock, and I think that I'm going to gamble on getting this Vevor 52cc gas-powered post driver. Sorry, SWI Fencing. I know that that Rhino is a really good machine, but yeah, I'm not doing it for a living. Now I have a feeling it will work. The most important thing is to make sure that the sleeve can go over the Postmaster, and it should, because it looks like it could do 3.93 inches. Yes, it should go over the Postmaster with no problem. Yeah, and it also says here it's to avoid sandy, rocky soils. Yeah, that's also probably why it failed through SWI's testing. And luckily that Home Depot, we actually had to go to two different ones, had these in stock. So we were able to pick up about a dozen of these. That's approximately how many we need, including for the gate on the side of the house. Now let's see what else we need. Now, I'm not by any means a professional. I do have a lot of Ryobi tools because I find their One Plus system to be more than adequate for my needs. I do have more professional line tools for other jobs I do daily, but since I'm just more of a weekend warrior, I believe this brushless cordless airstrike will be perfectly fine for building the fence. And plus it's an excuse to get another tool. And these are the nails I'm using to attach the pickets. As for attaching the runners to the fence posts, 1¼ deck screws works out rather nicely, and it is quick. Yes, we took the lazy way out. We decided to just push over the fence. And then we took a sawzall to cut down the posts even further, because these were set in concrete and they're 6x6 posts. So we ran our string line, and we decided that the posts were only going to be 6 feet apart. Yeah, I know. They're not the standard width, but it's okay. It's our fence, our rules. You could really see how rotted those posts were. Yeah, it was going to fall over. And was able to find someone locally to haul it away at a decent price. Thank you, bud. Now the biggest challenge is for installing these posts or hammering them down is to make sure they're level on both sides. Or plumb, however you want to say it. Level and plumb, I guess. But yeah, this actually made pretty short work of getting these posts in. The whole thing is not to gas it to full throttle. You want to do it about halfway, and it literally will pound these posts down in about 1.5 minutes. Very efficient machine. And you'll notice that there was a line on that post. We measured each post ahead of time and set the line to 30 inches deep. And that's our stopping point, is when the line reaches the soil. So we decided that we're going to follow the curvature of the soil versus trying to make everything just level. My brother's giving me measurements. I'm cutting each runner to size. And they're a little bit off, but most of them are pretty much dead on. So I'm the one that's doing the nailing, leveling, and using another board to make sure my gap is right. And it's going rather quickly. And here's the almost one full side. And you notice that the string is on the top, and that's where we meet the board to the top, and we didn't need to cut any of the pickets on this side. My neighbor came by, and we're able to actually get all this done in about 2 hours. Now that's pretty darn efficient for a one-legged guy and someone else. Then my father-in-law came over and said, "You're too slow," so he finished off the rest. But he did forget to cover one of the, the metal posts. And that can be tricky, is covering the metal posts, because the boards won't line up perfectly every time. So right here you'll see 2 boards next to each other, and over there you'll see 2 boards with one that's been ripped down in half in between. So there will be times that you need to be creative on how you cover up the metal posts, because like I said, it won't line up every time. Now my brother and his friend came up with this different solution for the corner post here. So he used 2 of the ProMasters and then put a 4x4 in between and sandwiched them. That's because this is a dual gate, and it's about 4 feet for each gate. So we definitely wanted to make sure it was nice and secure. And now this isn't the standard way to do it, but we just want to make sure it was nice and beefy to hold the gate up. And then to the side of the house, you will see there's an anchor to actually attached to the side of the house, and it's done a little bit different because you're right next to the house, and you still have 2 postmasters with a 4x4 in between, just to help brace it and keep it from falling over. Since the gate isn't open that often, we went with a barricade style, and it works out rather nicely. But the problem is, bird feeder. The problem is that this fence looks too nice, and our back fence is about 17 years old, and it looks pretty dated. Let's see what we can do to clean it up. So this is our back fence. Currently it's about 17 years old. It's using the same steel posts as the ones that we installed, and it is still structurally sound, but kind of looks old and dated. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to clean it up. We got some cleaner, I'll show it to you, and we're going to then stain it and hopefully get a few more years out of it. So let's go ahead and give it a try. So I picked up this bleach-free outdoor cleaner. It's a 2-part, so you get 2 gallons out of 1. So you just mix another gallon of water. It has this oxalic acid, I guess that's what you say, and that's what's going to help clean it. So we're going to spray it on there, wait 10-15 minutes for it to settle, and then we're going to take a pressure washer to remove it. Let's see how it goes. So I'm just using a pump sprayer. It's half water, half of the solution, and I'm just spraying it on there, and then I'm going to just take an electric pressure washer and I'm going to just rinse it off. I'm getting a little close, but I found out that this was just more dirt than anything. Dirt and mold. And would you look how it looks after sitting for 2 days and fully dry? I mean, that looks a lot better, but we are going to stain it, so let's go ahead and continue on. Since we decided to go with pressure treated lumber, we had to make sure the fence was nice and dry before we were to stain it. And now is the time before it actually freezes out here, because right now it's the beginning of November. So yeah, we're really at a crunch here to get this fence stained. And we're going to be using a Vevor sprayer. I'm not going to hand roll it or anything. And we're going to do both sides. And I'll show you the paint sprayer that we're going to use and the stain. So let's go ahead and tackle this fence, get it all nice and done. And yes, we are doing both sides. I mean, it doesn't make sense to only do one side of the fence. Why would you treat one side and not the other? I get that you only see one side, but treat all the wood. So let's go ahead and get that going. And I went with the Vevor 750 watt stand airless paint sprayers. 3000 PSI high efficiency electric airless spray with cart. And there'll be links to purchase in the description. And it's perfect for home interior, exterior, and doing stains. On the left here we have our dial, And then let's go all the way down here. We got roll, and then if we scroll up a little bit, we see prime and clean, low spray, and then you have the high spray. And on the right, we have our prime switch. Down is to prime, up is to spray. And we have a 25-foot high pressure length hose. That's really nice to have. And the nozzle on here is a 517. It has a real nice comfortable grip. And it has the trigger has a real nice feel to it, and you could actually turn the nozzle, one side to the other, depending on how you want to spray. And the gun has a real nice feel to it. Very good tactical feedback, as you would say. Now it does come with this extension pole. We're not going to use it for this application. I do see a lot of people that use it. And the accessories is you got a rubber plug, a cleaning brush, and then you have the user manual, some filters, paint cup. Yeah, so you want to definitely keep all this handy, and also keep your user manuals handy, because it is definitely nice to have. It tells you how to maintain your machine, especially how to clean it. There are your 2 wrenches to help take it apart if so needed. And since I'm by myself, I'm using the wife's little yard cart here. I better not get any stain on it, otherwise I will be missing another leg after this. Now we got our stain from Menards here, and we're going to turn on our prime. We're going to unscrew it, and what's great about this stain from Menards is, look at this, we can actually put our hose right inside. And you can put both hoses in. You want to go down as far as you can, and of course shake your stain as well, because you want to make sure it's all nice and even. Now it is suggested before you turn it on is that you squeeze the trigger of your hose to relieve any pressure. That way you do not blow out, I guess, the valve on the bottom. And that's before we prime the system. And of course it's nice and free. So let's go ahead and turn it on. Now this is not overly loud, but you can actually see it pumping in real time. So it does prime the system pretty darn fast. Now I did make a mistake here, but it's not that obvious. I should have actually turned the bucket to the side so that way the hose could reach in a little bit further. But it's still pulling in rather nicely. Now I cannot recall if I actually have to turn it off before selecting my mode there, but I'm sure that the internet will let me know if I'm wrong or correct. But I turn it back on here, and now I'm just going to squeeze the trigger just to make sure it's flowing out, and just see how my spray pattern looks and how far I need to be away from the material. Yeah, all right. It's my first time doing this, so there will be mistakes being made. So let's go ahead and give it a try. Now I did do a test panel. I do realize that my balance is an issue, so there will be some runs on here because, I did lose my balance a couple times, and I'm trying to maintain my distance. And I did realize that the tip was actually going horizontally instead of vertically. So I was able to adjust it, and now I'm getting a much better spray pattern. And it's a little bit easier. And we did go with a shadow box design because, first off, when it's windy, it helps pass through the fence a little bit better. So you can actually see it is pretty windy out today. So it's not really the best day to be spraying the fence. I am wearing a N95 mask. You may want to choose a respirator, and I'm wearing safety goggles as well. Since I'm just a one-person, well, 3/4 of a person crew, you'll see me move the camera here. Yep, so that happens quite often. So sorry about that, but that's just the way it is. And since it is a shadow box design, I'm actually having to spray both sides of each picket. Now the dual gate here is cedar, so it's going to stain a little bit differently. And when I open it, I'm going to start to stain it by the house, but the overspray is pretty excessive, so I stopped. I'll wait until that panel is closed. And just doing that one right now. And we're going to move the camera. Yeah, one person, sorry. So I'm going to just spray that, and next to the house, I'll tape that off and then do that a little bit later. So this little wagon idea worked out really well for me, and may work out for you bipeds as well. I have an extra extension cord in there, and again, camera placement. So I worry about that too. I actually counted the pickets, so I know how far I had to go before I moved the camera again. And lo and behold, that by the time I get to the end, the extension cord was only about 2 feet shy. So I actually had to go, and right there you'll see that it ran out, and I put in another extension cord. But now the whole other side, the neighbor side, is all done, and I was so close to calling the neighbor to see if he could help me just move the wagon over there to the back fence. But hey, wouldn't be Tripod's Garage if I didn't do it all on my own. I am still amazed at how nicely this fence cleaned up. It's 17 years old, using Postmaster posts, not in concrete, and it's still holding up really nice. It's a cedar fence, and yeah, it's just a shame that the village side looks like garbage, but it is what it is. I noticed it was a little thin down below, so I did another coat. Now cleaning is rather easy. We're going to use mineral spirits since we're using an oil-based stain, and this is the preferred cleaning solution for this paint sprayer. We're going to just dump that into a 5-gallon bucket, and then we're going to take our hose and dunk it right in there. But we're going to turn off the sprayer, and we're going to squeeze the trigger until the line is clear. You want to do that, relieve any pressure in the line, and otherwise you could damage your paint sprayer. So be sure that you do that first. Now we're going to set the right switch down to your prime, and then set your dial as well. And then we're going to turn it on and let it prime the system. And you notice that I left the spray wand in there in the mineral spirits, just soaking. And then once it's done, we're going to, again, I don't know if I have to turn it off or not, but I'm sure the comment section will let me know. Then I'm going to switch everything, and I'm going to just go ahead and spray it, just to get everything through the nozzle. I'm getting it into the bucket, and I'm now starting to get drips up. My wife is going to kill me. Yeah, so yeah, I should have taken everything out. Nope, but I left everything in. But yeah, I'm now just spraying everything through the wand, getting it nice and clean. You're going to want to remove that small hose that you see soaking in the bucket, because that'll help flush out the small hose. And again, I'm just dipping the wand and everything in there and cleaning it. And that's pretty much it. Now, if you're going to winterize it, there is a winterizing solution in case if it's stored like in a garage or a shed or something. It's basically like an antifreeze with some lubricants. And it's highly suggested that you do that. And now I'm just basically taking apart the spray gun, and I'm going to just scrub everything down. But I did get stain all over now. The wife's cart that was so careful about not doing. Ugh, she is going to kill me. She's going to take my crutches away. And yeah, you will never see me again. I'm a dead man. But we got a new fence up, and it's stained. And I want to thank all the people that helped me with this project, which is my brother, my brother's friend Joe, the wife, daughter's new husband, and one of my close friends, Jason, and his family. I'm very happy with the outcome. So hopefully this helps you with your next project. So I really, truly appreciate you tuning into Tripod's Garage. Please have a wonderful day, evening, or weekend, or whenever you decide to watch this video. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll catch you again on Tripod's Garage.